Welcome. Today we're going to talk about a little Greek mythology, turning purpose into passion, and some of the moments that made us doubt ourselves. I'm joined by Douglas Jokerst of the band Crashing Atlas. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, all right, Doug, you and I already know a little bit about each other. We've been friends for a little while now. We both worked on the TV show 911 Nashville, airing Thursdays at 9 on ABC. So, with what I already know about you and your band Crashing Atlas, that name you mentioned to me previously was inspired by Greek mythology. So, can you give us more detail behind that story?
I mean, it was definitely like one of those like drunken campfire stories. We were all together and we were just sitting around a fire, just hanging out, and like we had recorded, I think, our first song, and we really didn't know like what we were gonna do as far as like a band name and all that. And we had the name Crashing Drama on like the docket, and everybody was kind of like, yeah, that seems pretty cool, but we could definitely do better. And I kind of just, spouted off like, my love for like Greek mythology. And I just brought the name Atlas, and I was like, you guys know Atlas, like, he held up the earth for, earth and sky for eternity. And but like, what if he dropped it? Crashing
Yeah.
Atlas. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't that much more to it, other than like everybody looking around going, yeah, that doesn't suck.
So you actually started the band when
Mhm.
you got out of the military, right?
I
Because you
did.
had been playing guitar for everyone while you were serving. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I was in the Coast Guard for 10 years, and during that time, I was out at sea for almost five of them, and
Mhm.
that was my only thing to keep me sane. And I love playing, and that love never went away. Even when I joined the military, I've been playing since I was like 10 years old, and uh, it was the only thing that kept my mind at ease while I was out there.
Mhm.
And I just started writing songs. And when I decided like the military was no more for me, I had those songs in the back of my head, and I knew that I wanted to, create something that I was proud of. And because at during that time in the military, I was playing in bands when I could, but nothing serious because I was always deployed.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was very hard for me to like keep, something that like was just mine, and that I could, make people believe that like I was gonna put like the time and effort into. So at the time I was playing a lot of other people's songs, and so finally I just decided it's time to, start writing my own.
Yeah. It's funny. I've spoken to a few military veterans, and music seems to be an outlet that always finds its way into like certain groups or certain situations. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories about people just kind of, I don't, therapizing together, or like self-soothing, or helping each other decompress from everything that you're going through when you are deployed.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I- there, and it was quite cool. I mean, there was a few people on the ship that actually played. So, I mean, we would definitely have our own like jam sessions while we were out there. And
Yeah.
those serene moments, it let us know that like you know, we weren't just like robots. We weren't just numbers. Like we still got to do the things that like we as people like we were passionate about. So I genuinely, I don't know what I would have done, without that out there. So, it was
Yeah.
everything to, yeah.
So, how did you end up deciding that music is what you wanted to pursue when you stopped serving? Was it those moments where you realized like this is getting me through some of the toughest times of my life right now, or like how did you land on that as your next step?
I think in a lot of ways, like the military was always a pit stop for me.
Mhm.
It was done out of necessity. I knew in my mind, like when I was a kid, when I saw the music video for Guns N' Roses Welcome to the Jungle when I was 5 years old. I didn't know exactly what I was watching, but I knew whatever Axl Rose and Slash were doing right there. That's what I wanted to be a part of, and
Yeah.
that and from that moment on, it was always like engraved in me. And it sounds crazy, but that was the exact moment that I knew that like it was going to be a part of my life one way or another.
Yeah. I love that though. There's like there's something about 80s rock that kind of instilled a lot of daydreaming in us creatives. Like, we all wanted to be rock
Oh,
stars when we saw that stuff, but I can totally see that music video being that pivotal.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
I didn't know what was going on with it. I mean, like, he's getting electrocuted in a chair, and like, I didn't know what I was watching at 5 years old, but I was like,
yeah.
whatever that is, I want to be a part of it.
So when you were that young and you saw that video, I mean, did you start taking an interest in music then, or did you start kind of like pursuing your craft at it later? Like,
Um,
how young were you when you
so.
picked up a guitar?
Yeah, I vividly remember my mother taking me to a guitar shop when I was 6 years old, and I remember trying to play it, but I think I was just at the time my mind wasn't developed enough to like take it serious.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted to do it, but like it wasn't like a thing where like I could process it in my brain. So I put it away for like 4 years, and then it was just an acoustic guitar. And then when I was 11 years old, I remember getting my first electric guitar for Christmas, and then jamming the Green Day Dookie album until like my parents hated me. Um, yeah, and I think that was when I decided, yeah, I can take this to like the next thing, and I can start joining bands. I started joining bands when I was like 13 years old.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah. And just every kind of band that you could imagine. I was in a Misfit cover punk band one time. I mean, I just so,
Wait,
some of
tell
the
us.
worst, some of the yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know about this. So I was in this band, and we were called the Goober Dudes. Yeah. And 13 years old, I think I was 13 or 14. And I remember just playing in this garage, and just playing the same five Misfit songs with our one horrific original song that we had. And they were all five of them seemed like they were all the same chord progression. And it was just, I knew that I didn't like it, but I knew that like it was making me get out of my comfort zone as far as like playing with different people. And then once I got through all that, I knew that like, oh, I can do something better, and I can keep on
Yeah,
doing something better. So every time that I got into a band, I tried to make it just a little bit better than it was before.
that's a cool story. I love that. A Misfit tribute band.
Yeah. Yep. Who would have
So,
guessed?
when you actually decided to put Crashing Atlas together, it
Yeah.
started as a bit of a different project than it is now. So, can you tell
Yeah.
us about the evolution?
Yeah, absolutely. We've gone through the gamut as far as like lineup changes and all that, and with our very first EP, it was just a 5 song EP that those were like some of the original songs that I had bouncing in my head out at sea. And we had a lead singer. Her name was Shelby Celine, and to this day I love her to death. And it just at the time it just wasn't the right time for her to pursue this in the way that we needed to pursue it. We love her to death to this day. And I'm glad that she was a part of the history. And now that it's evolved into what it is, I can look back on it now and just be grateful for her contributions to everything.
Yeah.
And now we have the beautiful Marina Heath. She's been with me since 2018, and it's been a ride.
But you actually started with more people than you have now because you're currently a two-person band. So over the
Yeah.
years, I remember you mentioning that you would go to local shows and kind of scout out musicians and see if people were interested in joining your band. Can you tell us more about
Yeah,
that?
that's exactly what I was doing. And I was doing that while I was stationed in Washington D.C. while I was still in the military. I was playing in a bunch of random bands, and I would go to all these shows in D.C. and Baltimore, and I would literally scout and pick out the people that I knew that I wanted to be in Crashing Atlas. And one of the nuggets is that our very first show, Marina's band opened up for us, and I remember watching her at the time, and I was like, man, I love her energy, and I love what she's got
Yeah.
going on here. Like, and I talked to her right after the show, and I'm like, you're gonna have a future. I'm glad that I got to see you. I'm glad that you were a part of our first show. And when Shelby stepped away, she was my first call, and she was like, absolutely. Like, it was almost like it was meant to be that way. The
Yeah.
fact that her band opened up for my band's first show. So yeah, I like that's me actually going out to these shows. It was I needed to do that in order to make sure that I had the best people that I could possibly have. Because as far as like doing just like at the time Craigslist was a big thing, and
Yeah.
like before, like all the newspaper articles and all that. And I would just make sure that the people that I had in my band, they were able to do the things that I needed them to do.
Yeah. Yeah. You had a vision.
Yeah.
So you and Marina actually decided to make the move from the East Coast to Nashville together just a couple years ago. Tell us about what prompted that move.
We have been grinding it out in Baltimore and DC for a long time, 3 4 years at this point. And it felt like that we got to a point where it we're playing the same venues, playing the same shows, and playing with the same people, and we wanted to see what we would look like in a very, very big pond. So, and we wanted to be around like-minded people at all times. And not that there wasn't any like-minded people in Baltimore and DC. It's just exacerbated like tenfold here in Nashville with the amount of people that are, trying to do it with you, and have the same visions, have the same goals. So
Mhm.
we decided that it was time, and it was time for us to try it.
Was there did you get that immediate gratification when you moved here, like that you had made the right choice, or was there maybe something along the way that made you doubt whether or not it was the right move?
Well, first off, everybody here in Nashville is so good. Like, everybody's just so good, and you get that right away when you start playing shows with people. You're like, yeah,
Mhm.
this is a different level. So I mean, that was a good and bad thing for us. It forced us to look in the mirror and uh, look at like what we are putting out for a live show, and that made us have to get into a room more often, and try to just make a better live show.
Yeah.
So I think I think the good definitely outweighed the bad. The amount of people that I've met here and connected with, you just can't put a dollar sign on that. I mean, I I love my Baltimore and DC scene, but the people here, they're just everybody's here. Just everybody that you know and love, and that you listen to on records and on the radio, and they're here, and like you're out and about, and you're their peers, and it's really cool to be in.
Yeah. So when you and Marina get together and write, because now since now it's just the two of you, um,
Yeah.
where do you Where do your songs usually start? Like, do you guys have a process that you follow? Is there a science to it? Like, you start with lyrics, or do you start with melody, or is it just kind of emotional chaos?
Absolutely not. I do my best to not have a method.
Okay.
I've started with just, something in my head, like just a random melody. I've started with, writing down a phrase, a riff. I don't try to just, follow the bouncing ball, because when I find that, like, when I do that, I start spitting out the same song. So I try my best to, like, um make a make it a point to just write just organically from what's going on in my head. And
Mhm.
Marina does the same thing too. I mean, she's actually a pretty great piano player as well, and she'll sit down at the piano and just be like, "I got this thing, like, Doug, I need you to make it a rock song." Like, um, so yeah, it's just different processes. We don't try to, just pin down, like, what works and then just go with that. That works for some people, but we
Mhm.
try to, just, let it all happen organically.
Yeah. I think it comes through in your songs because they all feel so different,
Mm.
in not just lyrics or message, but in emotion and in inspiration. Um and we know that some of your songs have been inspired by personal stories like Monster and Savages. Is there a song that was particularly difficult for you to write, but you knew that like you had to get this story out?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. There's a song off of Black Sky Sunrise called "The Only Ones," and it has Kellen Quinn from Sleeping with Sirens on it, and it's 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 a song about the times that we're living in 2020. And
Yeah.
we wrote that record during 2020, and, like, that song was just our frustration with everything that was being, held against us for trying to make a record during that time.
Yeah.
So it was a very difficult song for us to get out and get that message out. And, like, if is it wrong of us to say that, like, we don't like what's going on here? Is it wrong? Like, are people gonna, take offense to that, or, like, so because usually we write from very, very, like, deep personal experiences, and we don't
Mhm.
we don't we don't write about, like, the generalities of, like, what's going on in the world. And that was our first time trying to do that. So yeah, it was difficult, and I'll give it up to Marina for, coming up with, some great words for that song.
Did you get pushback? Did you notice that people responded like adversely to it or
Yeah, just a couple offhand comments, for sure. Because, I mean, emotions were high at that time,
yeah.
and they just were. And I didn't really take offense to it, and I just knew that it was something that we personally needed to say, and that's all that mattered to us at the time. If people vibe with it, that's awesome. Like, if you didn't, like, care about the message of what we had to say, you know there's you know there's 20 other songs that you can listen to from us. So it's all good.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, because some of your songs have been created out of this strong emotional personal journey, it must have hit home for a lot of people. I mean, have you had a fan ever tell you that one of your songs like really helped them through a heavy time?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I remember the first time that somebody messaged us, and, like, they had a tattoo of us, like, on them. I'm like, "Are you sure?"
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like stuff like that, and then I'll hear it at shows that we play, and, like, I think more so the song "The Light." That song, it gives a lot of people hope,
Mhm.
and we've heard that time and time again from people at shows, that, it's just it's a song that pulls you out of the ashes. So, and that's what we wanted to do, because Marina and I, we've been there, and we're human beings. We've been through our ebbs and flows in life, and we continue to do that. And so that's how we're going to continue to write.
What did that feel like when you saw somebody tattoo your band on them? Like, that must have been wild.
It was. I mean, because I think about, like, because there's plenty of people have, like, Metallica tattoos, Guns N' Roses tattoos, right, rightfully so. And I look at that and I'm like, wow, like they cared enough and they lived with us enough to want to just look at that for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
That's all I was thinking. I was like, man, that's just dedication. I mean, I personally, I love bands. But I don't have any, bands tattooed on me. Um, but just seeing that, like, in real life, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, you
Yeah.
really did it. Like, that's awesome. I mean, how lucky, like, would any band be to, like, actually see that in person? So that's how I feel.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that at some point for you, you must have found a correlation between yourself and other artists, especially in the early stages. I think it's sometimes as a creative, it's hard to not compare yourself to other people. But is there a
Yeah.
song that is already out there that you wish you had written?
So many. I so many. So many. I I mean, any song that's more successful than anything that we've done, yeah, I wish I wrote that song. No, but I but if I had to just, like, pinpoint it, like, based off, like, our early career, I mean, we got compared to Paramore a lot. It's just what it is because of
Yeah.
Marina's vocal style and all that, and I'm fine with that. But I severely wish that we wrote their song Decode. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of the best. I mean, in my opinion, like, composition wise, one of the best, like, rock songs of the 2000s. There
Yeah.
was a reason that Twilight wanted that one. So
That's true.
yeah.
So is that a goal of yours to maybe write a song that gets picked up for a soundtrack?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, j- just the crossover of, like, me trying to be in movies now. Like, yeah, for sure. I would love to hear one of our songs, like, in the background, like, even if it's something like goofy and campy, like, like a National Lampoon's thing where it's, like, in the background where, just a bunch of frat boys are getting drunk. Like, I'd be like, yeah.
We made it.
Yep.
So for you and Marina, being just two people, the only two people that you have to work with, I mean, how do you
Yeah.
explain that dynamic? What about it works and what about it doesn't? I imagine there's got to be one thing you guys tend not to see eye to eye on.
Yeah. I think what does work is that we both trust each other as far as what we want to do, like, idea wise, and we always mold it, like, our ideas around each other's ideas.
Mhm.
We've always done that. I mean, we're at a point now where, like, if something's not melding, like, we just both know it, and there's very few times where we have those, like, headbutting moments where it's like, you have no idea what you're talking about. This song's a hit. No, we're on the same wavelength now.
Yeah.
But on the other side of it, we do miss, some of the collaboration as far as having four members in. It made some of the processes a little bit easier, but now it's, for us, it's so freeing, and we're able to just push things along, as opposed to, because when you get more cooks in the kitchen, it starts to drag the process down, and like, you start to worry about, because Marina and I think about things as songwriters. We're both
Mhm.
songwriters. We like, yeah, I'm a guitar player of Crashing Atlas, but I don't really waste too much time on certain nuances with the guitar. Right or wrong, that's just how I approach things in the band, and like how I songwrite. So, and then if you got like a drummer, or a bassist, another guitar player, they want to get their thing in, and then it starts to add up, and then all of a sudden you lose focus of what the song is. So that, but yeah, we miss it in some regards, but I think for now this is what we are going to be moving forward with, and who knows? There's always transformation in Crashing Atlas. You never know. There might be a time where we we do an interview 3 years later, and you're like, "Wow, you have four people in the band again, huh?" Like, and I'm not gonna rule anything out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like it's working out for you guys so far and you have a good working relationship. It's tough to find people that you gel with on that level where you just get along with
Yeah,
seamlessly and it works.
yeah,
Is there a moment
right.
in your journey together that you would classify as kind of a high, like a moment that hasn't quite been topped yet?
Sure. I mean, anytime we get to, as far as playing live, anytime we get to play a festival, I think about our time playing Rockfest in Wisconsin 2022, and just seeing 1,000 people strewn across like the field, and like you're looking out and you're looking at each other, and you're like, man, this is cool. Like, let's just do this every day, and then everything will be all right. Like, yeah, and after any of those shows, just seeing like the line of people just waiting to meet you. Like, I remember looking out one time, and I'm like, there's just hundreds of people just like waiting to meet us. It's like weird to me. So anytime we get to do that, I think that's when her and I like look at each other and we're like, oh yeah, that's why we do this, and that's why just just we take in all that pain of making it happen, and
Yeah.
it's all worth it. It's all worth it then. So that's
Yeah.
why we continue to do it.
Well, I mean, speaking of those moments of pain, like I there's gotta be a moment that you guys had or, whether it was together or individually, has there been a moment that you've gone through that just made you think, I don't know, like maybe it's time to hang it up
So
or
I, I mean, pick the year. I mean, I, there's so many like little moments that keep like stacking up, that like it's like, oh yeah, like when's what's the next booking agent that's going to screw you over? What's the next manager that's going to screw you over? Like, yeah, we have those like every single year, but still, her and I, we pick each other up, and we're like, look what we've already accomplished. We're
Mhm.
going to keep going, because like we can hang our hat on everything that we've done in the past. And I know I try not to speak like too, um too illy about it, because it's like I feel grateful that I was able to create all the things that I got to create and do the things that I got to do. But it all came with a price. It
Mhm.
always does. So
Yeah.
yeah, every single year.
I guess it's just kind of an occupational hazard.
It definitely is. And
Yeah.
I'm sure every person in every band that does this semi-serious, they can attest to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes those low moments can feel like the best thing that ever happened to you though. Like it usually takes a while to feel that way. But
Yeah.
is there a moment where a failure kind of ended up being a blessing in disguise?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think looking back on it, um, as much as I love Shelby, and like her leaving the band, I could have just been like, oh yeah, I guess that's it. I guess I wasn't meant to do this, and
Mhm.
I didn't. I gave Marina a call, and I'm glad that I did every day. It could have been just a complete disaster, and we it may not have worked, but it did work, and I'm glad that I made that call. I'll just say that.
Yeah. So let's pivot a little bit. When you're not making music,
Yeah.
what's something totally normal about you that fans would be surprised by?
I still play in a Misfits cover band. No, um, no, outside of music and all that, man, I, I have a very like small timeline of things that I'm able to do when I'm not pursuing music and acting. Um, I have a 10-pound Cavapoo named Sonny. And he's like my best friend, and yeah, I didn't think in a million years I'd have a tiny dog, but here we are, and it's his second birthday today, so and yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and I never thought in a million years that I'd be throwing a birthday party for my dog, but here we are. Yeah, we'll be partying it up with kibble and treats all night with him.
You're a dog birthday party thrower.
Well, what I will say is like, so I share custody with him. So I should preface this. Now, I can't take all the credit for it. I really can't. So
Okay.
his mother is the one throwing the party. So I will give it up to her. So I'm a dog party attendee tonight. Okay,
Oh, don't
I didn't.
backtrack now.
Uh,
I can see you putting up decorations.
hey, Sonny's very important to me. You know.
Oh, that's
So,
amazing. Are you
yeah.
are you also like a dog outfit enthusiast? Do you like dressing
Oh
them up?
no. Well, no, so for Halloween, yeah. Halloween's different because that's our favorite holiday together. But
Okay.
yeah, other than that, no, 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 no. No, I mean, I'll dress like I'll put like little sweaters on him, for the sake of him not, freezing in the cold, but other than that, no, I'm not dressing him up as like, a 16th century pirate or anything like that, but
Oh, all
uh,
right. So all things sunny aside,
uh,
what is would you say the hardest criticism that you've ever received about your music? And did any part of that really stick with you?
hmm. I, this is what I can say. A lot of the times when there is a criticism, it's one of two things. It's either you're you're not heavy enough, or you're too heavy. There's never that middle ground for us. It's always like, when are you going to get heavier, or like, can you tone it down? It's like it's very weird. And then like I brought up Paramore, the the being compared to Paramore thing, like, oh, you're just like ripping off Paramore, like, and it's like, and it cracks me up all the time, and I feel genuinely bad for woman fronted bands just in general, because they
Mhm.
get that like right away. um it's almost like they think that like Paramore is the very first band to like have a female vocalist, and I'm like,
Yeah.
like, no, they didn't invent that. Yeah, they made it popular for like our era, but this has been happening for 50 plus years now. So
Yeah.
I think some of those comments are just kind of lazy, like, oh yeah, you just sound like Paramore, which, I mean, I personally think that we don't. I might be too close to the needle, but like I've never thought, oh yeah, like we're trying to, emulate what they're doing. Like,
Yeah.
no, we do what we do, and we write the way that we write, and like, people like that, cool. Like, if not, like, there's plenty of other great bands in the universe to vibe with.
It doesn't sound like any of that stuff really affects you permanently, like it
No,
sounds, yeah, like you just kind of let it fly.
no, because I in this day and age with socials, like, it's almost like you have to have criticism.
Yeah.
You have to, like, name me one artist that is like, right now, that if you can look on like their socials, everything is positive. It's
Right.
just it's not. You're always gonna have that few, and like, and that's what I think that dialogue is what makes, you know, just our era special in a way. Just that open dialogue of like, oh yeah, you like them, oh I don't like them, blah blah blah. Like it's almost like the the Michael Jordan LeBron James arguments online. It's like,
So, is there when you think about where you are now, like despite all the criticism,
mm.
despite, kind of like the fallbacks, the setbacks, is there something about your career in pursuing music that still kind of scares you?
Yeah, every day. I I think about it all the time. Like, what I try not to dwell on the past because
Yeah.
you're sitting where you're sitting, and that's what it is. But I sometimes I'll think back and I go, well, what if I hadn't pursued music? Like, who would I be as a person and all that? But I definitely try not to dwell on it because it's pointless. Um, I like I said, I'm just happy with where we're sitting, and because I know that there's thousands of other bands that are like, oh yeah, like I wish I had 10 million streams, or like I wish I had that. It's like you always want more, and you just gotta you know t- keep it in yourself to just keep climbing up the ladder. So that's
Mhm.
what I just try to do.
I mean, I think that's a that's a great way to think about it. I mean, it's kind of impressive that you're able to stay so positive. So, if there were someone listening right now, that had the same dream as you and felt like giving up on it, what would you tell them?
Everybody's situation is different. That's what I will say. And if you personally believe that this is what you're supposed to be doing, and this is like the thing that is fueling you and driving you and still giving you a reason to be here, then I say, who's who's there to stop you besides yourself? So I think it's important to continue to fight for your dreams, because we're still here. There's people that aren't. And what I think it was a Seth Rogen quote, and I think about it all the time. He said, if you quit, you sure ain't gonna make it, but if you
Yeah.
don't quit, you just might. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, tell us what's in the pipeline for Crashing Atlas. Where are you guys currently at? What are you working on anything at the moment? Do we have something to look forward to?
Yeah, we're we've got an album done, so we are just everything's situated. We've got the music recorded, and we do have 3 songs out right now that will be on the record. You can definitely listen to those. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what we're focusing on right now. Is just getting over that hump and getting this music out. And once we do that, we are going to be chatting about playing some shows in or around the country. So that's what the outlook of 2026 looks like for us.
Nice. Well, definitely looking forward to seeing you guys out and about more. So, if anyone's interested in following along, where can they find you? Where can they follow you?
Everywhere at Crashing Atlas Band. So yeah,
Perfect. A little inside, this was our second time giving this a go because our first time we sat down and chatted, we had some technical difficulty. So I appreciate
yeah,
you coming back on and
yeah,
being so generous with your
yeah,
time and telling your story again.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Deanna.